Alrighty, welcome back to the Osikona Hour for our spooky episode. Can you guess? It's me. Can you tell my voice? But yeah, let's get into it. And I'm gonna take this off and let's change up our spooky lighting for something a little more flattering. But yeah, Pig Butcher, I think, is the vibe tonight. Ooh, I shouldn't be so close. Okay. New audio is making this quite interesting. Hold on, I think it sounds better back here. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, hopefully this gets posted on Halloween. If not, it'll be the day after. So that's fine. Oh, this is really sensitive. I need to fix that. But yeah, happy Halloween, everybody! Ooh, oh, I think my lipstick is messed up. Ugh, it'll be fine. It'll be something on post. I don't know. So, as you can tell, we are leveling up the podcast quite a bit. It is very exciting with the new microphone, the Rodecaster Pro 2, and of course all these new accessories. But with new stuff also comes new growing pains. So do bear with us while we try to figure out this new technology that is moving much faster than we are. But let's get into the show. So for today's episode, in light of Halloween, we are going to be talking about something that is even scarier than ghouls and monsters, and that is no other than online dating. But and the stories and horror stories that go along with online dating. So we're going to be reading a couple of horrifying stories today for you all, and hopefully you haven't heard them before. Hopefully not. But yeah, but a couple of household things before we get started. If you are local to the Bay Area, then I invite you to please come by the booth where I will be doing a pop-up booth at Nirvana Soul, Cupertino, and downtown San Jose. So if that's something that interests you, or if you like trinkets, zines, colorful things, stop by the booth if you are able to. Ugh, I do not like the sound very much, but it's fine. And also, we're no longer at Book Lucky, which is so sad. But we move upwards and onwards, so it's fine. Okay, because I don't want all the... Well, I guess it doesn't really pick it up that much. Alrighty, let's get started with our first dating horror story of the night. This one is called Lice Lice Baby. Ooh, I kind of like the ASMR. Okay, so this was a handful of years ago when I was first moved to Seattle. I had made the move right after finishing college in San Diego and was excited but also a little terrified to live in a new city. My aunt and her family offered to let me stay with while I got my feet on the ground. Also, immediately I met a guy at work who was super cool, had amazing hair, was the lead singer in a pretty popular local band, which, let's pause right there. I've never been one to really get involved with work people. Here, I'm gonna take this off. Forgive me. Okay. Because it just gets so messy, I feel. And this story just kind of cements that. I haven't read it completely. I haven't read most of these. I just wanted it to be a live reaction sort of thing. But yeah, so let's continue. I don't know. I always stray away from, blurring the lines of work and not work. Okay, so we immediately spent a lot of time together, and I met all his friends, his mom and his little brother. I had spent the last 4 years studying and working full time. I hadn't dated even a little bit. Still, I felt really relaxed around this new guy. There were a million red flags. Oh, okay. He drank a lot, smoked a lot, lived in a shitty apartment, and I happened to find a lot of girl-like things laying around his house or his apartment. Bobby pins. Someone must have left that here. Chapstick. I like the smell. And did I mention he was in a band? Okay, I think so too. And I think we're kind of getting on the realm of Jennifer's Body a little bit. And if you know Jennifer's Body, you know that she was succumbed to the wrath of an indie boy band in her small town. So, I don't know. I find that charming too, but not a what's it called? Not a not the seller. It doesn't sell me too much. Okay. Anyways, so he wasn't exactly the kind of guy you want to bring home to your parents. Still, I didn't know anyone else in the city except him and his friends. Ugh, they were all so nice and he was so dreamy. First of all, you didn't know him and his friends. You need to find some friends because his friends aren't your friends. And I think that's what can get very tricky. Oops, sorry. Okay. Um then one day I get a call from him telling me that he has lice. Oh, that's nice that he said that he did. And that I probably have it too. Lice. I was mortified, but I had to tell my aunt and her family that they might have lice too. Oh, because they were living. But I was too embarrassed to say why. Then I had to go get my lice removed in a place for little kids, and I offered to clean everything in their house just in case. My family was disgusted, but was too nice to say anything. Luckily, they didn't have lice too, and they let me clean the house. After all this, I called the guy back to say that I was now lice free and that I could come over. Why would you want to come over and help him clean his house too? At this point in time, I was embarrassed, but naively not mad at him at all. It didn't even occur to me how he could have gotten lice, but his roommate didn't have it. He answered the phone, but said that he didn't want me to come over and that we should stop seeing each other. And I didn't hear from him, so it was never okay. Let's just stop right here. Obviously, the other woman, or the main woman, she was the other woman. The main woman she was seeing had lice for whatever. I don't know, maybe she was a teacher or something, worked with kids. But, and then gave it to him. Like, this seems like such a story of like early 20s, like 19-year-old. Like, some, like, where you're so you're very new to dating. Like, you're not really taking apart like these, ignoring these red flags, because this is just all the way weird. Anyways, continuing, needless to say, I moved out of my aunt's house and into my own place shortly after and found a new job. We don't talk about that time I got lice, but it's embarrassing and painful memory. Years later, there are times when I still have to remind myself not to freak out when I scratch my head. This was definitely the worst dating story, but I've dated guys where I found a girl's tank tops tangled in their sheets, or caught them walking around with another girl in Pike Place. Where is Pike Place? Can you look that up? Okay. When they were supposedly traveling, and my first ex has been in and out of rehab for the last decade. I know I probably have ultimately chose the wrong guys, but I don't think my stories are all that uncommon. So many of my girlfriends have become completely disheartened with dating. Moral of the story, meet another guy at work 2 years later, fall in love, and move into an adorable house at the top of Queen Anne. He will make you an amazing dinner every night, hold your hand while grocery shopping. It was all worth it. I hope so. That was like a really long string of terrible dates. And oh my God, I was about to say students. I haven't gotten enough sleep lately. Let me just check. Let me just pause right here. Okay. But yeah, I think moral of the story, I think, because she's had a lot of like strange dates. And like not even that, but just strange relationships. Like at one point you have to look inward because your taste isn't that good. Okay, yeah, I am gonna read the title because they are fun. Okay, Mr. Netflix and Chill. No, I won't watch Patch Adams and Touch Your Junk. Ugh, I don't even know what that is. Are these like British? It's giving British to me. Should I read? Maybe this is a British website. Okay, continuing on. So those of us who survive awful Sunday night dates should receive a badge of some sort, at least a medal. I don't know if I've ever gone enough first date on a Sunday now that I think about it. Oh my God. We might hear some trick-or-treaters. I think the lights are off, but still, we do have like kids in this neighborhood. So that'll be nice. A nice touch to the ambiance. Anyways, no, I don't think I've ever gone on a date on Sunday. I feel like Sunday is not the day to be doing that. Because it's like Friday, like a Saturday maybe. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. It was mild Sunday night when I met my date outside of the bar. When he climbed out of the Uber with a friend, I assumed it wasn't him, but it was. The friend proceeded to shake my hand and introduce himself, only to stand there for several moments until he got back in the car. Ew. That was the first red flag. The awkward moment kept coming as my date's hand grazed over my butt as we walked to a booth in the empty bar. Evil. He was impressed when I ordered a gin and tonic. Ew. Because oh, my shit's hella gonna die. Whatever. I'll probably do like 2 of these. That's so annoying. I hate when like you're complimented because you're not like the typical, because you inhabit typically male traits. In other words, and that in turn sort of like, how do I say this? That in turn then proves that they have a problem with femininity. Because what's wrong with a fruity cocktail drink? He thinks he's impressed because it's a gin and tonic. He's impressed by masculinity. Oh my God, clocked it. Anyway, moving on. So we had pleasant conversation over our drinks, but it didn't take me long to figure out that he was still heavily influenced by Liquid Courage from the Sounders match. I think this is from a country where I'm not familiar because none of these things, there's a lot of like cultural things and they don't make sense to me. Anyways, he didn't touch his drink, but he did touch my leg after awkwardly asking to sit next to me in the booth. Where else would you sit? Whatever, because the quiet bar was too, where else would, whatever. He turned the mediocre conversation to movie watching. He was hell bent on Netflix and chill. Ew. When I mentioned that Dead Poet Society is one of my favorite movies, he actually stood up on the seat of our booth, towering over me, professing, I can't even read this. This is so cringe. Towering over me, professing in slurred speech, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," from the iconic scene. Oh, God. I'm getting secondhand embarrassment. I try to get past it as we talked more about Robin Williams movies. He admitted to never seeing Patch Adams and suggested we go back to my place and watch it. My honest internal response was, "Buddy, I am not going to watch Patch Adams with you and touch your junk." What I actually said was, "I'm not really that kind of..." Oh, wait, hold up. I got something. Hold up. Oh, hold up. I can do this so much better. What I actually said, I don't know if it's doing it. What I actually said was, it's not really that kind of movie. It's really sad, definitely funny moments, but I'm mostly sad. Also, I'm not really feeling a movie of any kind tonight. I'm not really feeling a movie of any kind tonight. He tried to find excuses to come over. His phone was dying and how he wanted to make this work. We had a connection. In the end, all he could say was, "Wow." He paid the bill and still couldn't stop expressing his surprise that this was not happening because apparently this was a shock. I waited until his Uber drove away to walk the few blocks home, and no, I did not watch Patch Adams. I didn't even know that was a Robin Williams film. Maybe this is old. Or maybe I'm just young. Okay, moving on. Bad dates in haiku form. Okay, I'm going to pick my favorite one because I like long form stories. I don't know any date you send. Ew. Okay, this is a good one. You send text message. Want pizza and a quickie? Sadly, I say yes. That's horrible. Okay, moving on to longer stories. That's the only short one that I can bear. I met this guy at a party I went to with some friends. I had just broken up with my boyfriend of 2 years and was still in the process of moving out, so it was a welcome encounter. That's crazy. You moved in with your boyfriend of 2 years and or with your boyfriend in the midst of 2 years. I guess that's normal if you're like older, because it's like, what else? Anyways, he was cute, nice, had interesting things to say, and obviously worked out. I feel like that's kind of bare minimum, no? He was cute, nice, had interesting things to say. Whatever. My only reservation at the time was that he was wearing dad jeans. But I thought, whatever, no big deal. Okay. I want to make a hypothesis, but I don't think I have enough evidence to really make it. Dad jeans. What could that... I don't know. Is he like old? Does he like old things? Whatever. We ended up making out and he walked me to my car around 5 a.m. I was like, oh my God, he's a gentleman. Why? But wouldn't he? I don't know. Okay. I feel like I'm messing up the audio. We made plans to actually go on an official date that next week. Friday night rolls around and I called a cab to meet him at a popular restaurant for dinner. When I arrived, much to my dismay, he was wearing the exact same outfit, dad jeans and all. Is he? I don't know. And he was during our makeout session 1 week prior. Why would you wear the same outfit? I brushed it off, whatever. So we went to get a table and the place had an hour wait. Pretty common for a popular place on a Friday night, right? Wrong. This guy was furious. He yelled at the hostess, about how that would have ended there. That would have been the last time I saw him to be because that would have been so cringe. It was ridiculous to wait an hour for a table. I figured we'd just get to the bar area, enjoy a drink while we waited, but he was having none of that. He dragged us to a nearby seafood restaurant, which had no wait. Then once we sat down, proceeded to tell me that he hated fish. In the end, I paid for my own dinner and never called him again. Then what the hell was the dad jeans about? What was that about? We got the dad jeans. He wore them twice. And then nothing? Pissing me off. Whatever. I hope this next story is better. Okay, this is the last one. Okay, let's see. Change of clothes. I met this guy at a party I went to with some friends. I had just broken up with my boyfriend. Oh, wait. I just read that one. Okay. I dated this person longer than I should have, but your 20s are a time of failure and exploration, so it is what it is. He was a musician who lived with his parents and took his craft very seriously. I had my own apartment, so he was over quite often and had the key to let himself in whenever. Wait, hold on. Okay, she dated him really long. Okay, one night when I wasn't expecting him, he showed up clearly either drunk or on some sort of drug. I was completely asleep because it was like 3 a.m. He came in my room, woke me up, and demanded that I move to the other side of the bed because I was on his side. Ew. Obviously, I said no. Oh, thank God. Okay, I love this girl. I always slept there, and it was my damn house. It's just saying that if murderers came in, they'd get him first. Nice logic. So to shut him up, I relented and moved over. I would have just slept on the couch because I'm like, you're pissing me off. I love sleeping on couches. But I was angry. He then refused to shut the light out and sat up in a bed for hours, ranting about his music and rocking back and forth. The fuck? It was insane. I wish I could say that I broke it off after that, but it took a few more of those unfortunate episodes before I could even get the nerve. Ugh. The ugh was there. And I added for effect. These are horrible, but they're all horror stories. I mean, there's definitely awful ones that are like actually criminal, but these I think are not even that much. Like I've heard other podcasts with like very gnarly stories. That's crazy. Anyways, let's play around with the effects. Let me see. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Oh my goodness, I totally heard that. Okay. Ooh, I should have added this one, but I'll just add it right now. Oh my God, I love this thing. I got it on sale too. I wish I could hear the voices, but whatever. Okay, well that's all I really got for y'all. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot. I really tried to find like good stories on Reddit or even excuse me, on like some other platforms, but they're all kind of like not scary. They're either like not very good or they're like criminal, and I don't want to like talk about that on the pod because it's so sad. And that's all I'll say about that. But it's a shame I've only recorded for 18 minutes. What else should I talk about? I want at least 30. I'm talking to you.
Oh, I don't know. What's maybe some horror stories in your life?
Oh my God. Horror stories in my life? Ooh, scary stories. Definitely not dating. I can't say anything about that topic. But horror stories in my life. Ooh, sorry. I won't make those little noises. Let me think. Ooh, I can talk about a really scary dream that I once had that's followed me for a long, long time. So when I was about 7 years old, I am the youngest in my family. And so that's always really stuck with me. It's always been a very common theme in my family, like, oh, always the youngest, like this is our baby, blah, 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 whatever. And so I don't know where this has come about or where this fear even came, but I know that it's followed me for a very long time. Ooh, and it's about I'm gonna have to leave it to the next episode because it's about to die. That'll be the cliffhanger. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. I was literally about to say alrighty students again because I'm a teacher by day and podcaster by night. But I think that's it. Oh my God. Okay, I'll leave that to the next pod. Thank you so much for listening to this part of the episode and bearing with us. Next one, I promise, will be much longer and we'll get the sound a lot better too. But thank you so much for listening. Bye.